sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hold on, where we at? What? Okay, my bad. Boom. Okay, there we go. What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Welcome to another episode of Mask Off, episode 181. Ladies first, man. As you all know or don't know, if you don't know, now you know. March is Women's Empowerment Month. So we got some ladies on today. Yeah, we got some special guests. But before we get to all of that, I want to welcome you to another episode of Mask Off. I am your host, Mask Off Malachi. To my left should be right, or to my right should be left, however you looking and switching.
Thank you,
It's
my
your
brother.
my man OG. Big Tone in the building. What's good, my man?
What's up, baby? What's up, baby? What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing?
Yeah. Hey, man, wait, you got the smooth talk on for the ladies?
You know how I do. Ooh, wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you feeling, man?
I feel good, man. I feel good. I can't complain, man. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Just came off of one experience over the weekend, and I'm just blessed, man. Just blessed.
Blessings. I love that, man. I myself, I'm doing good, man. I'm as I was starting the show, I'm realizing like, wow, I really got a podcast. Like, you know what I'm saying? I really got a platform that's mine that I control, alongside with you. And that I got creative reign over. I can bring in guests. I can talk the stuff I want to talk. I have a chance to create, you know what I'm saying? And I think for me, the hustle and bustle of it all can stray you away from what you really like doing, you know what I'm saying? Which is talking that talk and having opportunities to have discussion, man. So I'm grateful for this platform. We on a 5-year run. This in next month it will be on 5 years of Mask Off. Wow, man, wow. Through the ups and downs, through the changes, through the people, the expansion and shrinking, whatever the case is, we still going strong. So I'm excited, man.
Beautiful thing about that is it's nothing but love, man. Like people have come and gone. They always welcome to come back. And no ill will with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Our name speaks for itself in these podcast streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And while it's doing that, and if you new, like and subscribe to Mass Law Podcast. We here every Friday from 12 to 1.
Yep.
You know, these are our times, these are our slotted times, and this is what we do. We talk that talk. You know what I mean? Sometimes it get real emotional. Sometimes it's real playful banner, but all in all, it's just honest. It's just honest conversation. That's what we have.
Man. That's the main thing. And we built this brand Mask Off on taking the mask off, revealing the truth. We built this during the pandemic, and everybody was masking up. People was covered up, which they should have been. But at the same time, there was civil unrest happening as well. George Floyd was murdered live in front of everybody's faces. And so, I mean, we had already had this title, but the concept is taking the mask off, getting to the truth, man. So that's what we do. And today we're going to get to a lot of truth today with these women that we got, 2 dynamic women that we're going to bring on today, man. So very excited for today's show. Today is March 28th, 2025. Time is flying by, man. So before we get into the nitty gritty, you know how we pop it off. Oh, go ahead.
Before you go, I just want to say happy birthday to Trisha. Happy birthday to one of my Orilla brothers, Tomar Thomas. His birthday was yesterday.
Let's go.
Today, he's having a procedure. Watch over him, while he go through his procedure. Just let's get it cracking. Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
I love that, man. I love the shout outs, man. Yes, sir. Yeah. So y'all know how we do. If you don't know, now you know. We kick it off with that good old hot and ready motivational minute, man.
A little season version.
Today's motivational minute, man, is ladies first, man. A lot of times with this culture that we have with Instagram, with rap music, a lot of times women are disrespected. Women are put to the back burner, man. But we have to continue to respect our women, continue to show chivalry to the ladies that's in your life, continue to show love, give them their flowers while they're alive, whether that's giving them words of affirmation, showing them what they mean to you in your life. Everybody that's in this world came through a woman. So that shows the level of respect that we need to have towards our women. Protect our women, protect our queens, protect our young ladies. Do what you can to protect the women in your community as well, and pour back and give back to these young ladies, because they're going to be our future. They're going to literally birth the new generation. So Motivational Minute, man, love, care, and respect and appreciate these women, man, all over. Even if it's a woman you don't know, treat her like your sister. You feel me? And respect these queens, man. That's your Motivational Minute. Bam, bam, bam. You know how we do.
What the whispers say? Treat her like a lady. Oh, it's Temptations. Temptations.
Yeah.
Treat her like a lady.
Yeah. I went with it because I don't know who is what.
Yeah, those are Temptations said that, John, man. But you are absolutely 100% true in what you said in this Motivational Minute, man. We in a society where we look at women as objects.
Yeah, 100%.
Objects as affection, objects as sex toys, objects of something, something that be discarded, not really showing any gratitude toward, And it's unfortunate that men today, I hate to say it, man, we really lack in what we supposed to do as far as taking care of household, taking care of everything that we need to take care of to make your mate, which is hopefully the woman in your life, feel special, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I find that a lot of dudes, they put more value in spending time with their homies than they do with they lady, man. And it's like, I don't know. All I know is this: at the end of the day, like you said, without her, it wouldn't be no us. So we have to always remember that, just because you may be the president of the United States, don't mean that you didn't get to that point where a woman blessing you to be birthed in this world, a woman teaching you, because that's your first teacher. You know what I'm saying? A woman laying hands on you the right way. You know what I mean? It's so many things a woman does. You know what I mean? And I've come to a point where if you are a male chauvinist, you're a nut. You know what I mean? You're just a straight nut, man. Because anyway, a woman, the way they treat women nowadays is just so unfair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's get into it.
No, I totally agree, man. I totally agree, and we're gonna talk a lot of that. Definitely with the music, that's a big part of it, and it teaches our young men to just disrespect, because the B word, H word is so thrown around. Like that's really what it is. So yeah, with that being said, man, we're gonna get right into it. So I am very excited to bring on our special guest today. With it being Women Empowerment Month, it was only right that we get two dynamic women on board with us. So first things first, I want to introduce someone very special to me personally. She is an author. She is an actress, a stand-up comedian, a singer. She's on the praise team at her church. She is doing her thing. She is a wife, not only a wife, but my wife. I want to welcome in Dani Love.
Treat her like a lady.
Yeah.
Thank you, babe. That was a good, wonderful introduction. I love it.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm definitely glad to have you on board. Happy to have you here.
Happy to be here.
You know how we do. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And also another dynamic woman. This has been one of my friends for a good long time. She is a dynamic actress, singer, recording artist. She has her own website, which we're going to shout out in a minute. And a student of the game. This is one person that she's always training and always looking to get better in her craft. I want to welcome to the stage the Rene Henry.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Honored and privileged to be amongst the greats.
So
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we let me rearrange this. I got
That's
you.
What I was gonna say. It's only fitting. It's only fitting, bro.
I got you, man. There we go. Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So we have these women on. So first, I want you all to introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do and just whatever you want to say. Dani, go ahead.
Well, my name is Dani. My government name is Danielle Anderson. Um, I am an author
Okay.
of a novel. It's called Love Hates Me. It's a really good novel, and then it also has tools to overcome trauma and childhood trauma. I'm also a comedian of 3 years. I'm in the finalists for Sunday's Best on the the VR. And like you said, I sing on a praise team. So I'm excited because it's like my first live as me in a long time because I have suffered through depression. And so it feels good to be out here and honoring us beautiful women and these wonderful men on this platform.
Amen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right. I love that.
I like
Thank you
that.
so much for joining us. And
Hey,
go ahead, Renee.
Well, as it was stated, Rene Henry, I am a performing artist and have been since the age of 2. I won't say how old I am now, but yes, as Malachi stated, definitely always coming from a posture of a student. So I'm always learning. I love the craft of acting and singing. And a little bit about me. Let's see. Like I said, performance since age 2, stage plays, church, you name it. And I wear several hats. I'm a certified pastry chef. I have held every job known to man. You name it, I've done it. And just a little bit about my acting career. I got my start when I moved to New York City and got my footing by working alongside the legendary actress and my grand aunt, Cicely Tyson. And I learned a lot from her, learned so much about the craft and how much work goes into it just by observing her. I got the chance to really see her in action when she worked on How to Get Away with Murder, her first film with Tyler Perry, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and several other projects that she was involved in, which propelled me in my career. And even before she passed, she had the opportunity to share messages with me that today still hold true as a woman, as an actress, as a human being. And yeah, I know that was more than a little about me, but definitely enough for you to know where I come from and where I'm headed.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, wrap that up for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, so a lot of history with that, and I love that. Even with your great aunt being a dynamic woman, in not only the Black community but the film community as well. So y'all both come from these strong roots. So I'm very excited to have y'all on board. Episode 181, Ladies First, featuring Dani Luvand and Rene Henry. So let's get into it. First of all, thank you for those lovely introductions. And today is March 28th. So I'm going to read this meaning for women's empowerment. Women's empowerment refers to promoting women's sense of self-worth, their ability to determine their own choices, and their right to influence social change for themselves and for others. It encompasses education, health, employment, and legal rights. The concept also extends to other marginalized genders, in particular political or social contexts. So this self-worth and the power to determine your own choices, because history tells us that we have come from a place where it was men who run the country, men who are the ones that make the decisions, they make the choices, they make, the world go. And we've changed now. We now are, Kamala Harris just ran for president. She didn't win, but the fact that we are even advanced to this point where a woman is running now, so I like the fact that we have this month for this. But I do feel like we're missing a lot of things, So first I want to ask you all, what does this month mean to you to be a woman, to be empowered? Let's start with you, Renee.
Okay, well, I will first say that Women's Empowerment Month, anytime that there's a caption on a month, so to speak, it doesn't really resonate with me.
Okay.
Because women being empowered is so much more than what fits into one day, 30 days, or even a year. It's what we live every day. It's who we are. It is how we operate and live as human beings. What divides us from men is what we were born with, our parts, all of, all your heart and all your parts. So what divides us from a male is being female, and being a woman is about the ability to bear children. It's the science of it would be that. But if you're talking more on that deeper level, as your explanation with self-worth and I mean, there were things that I felt like were, for me, has to deal with confidence. It has to deal with making decisions, yes. But the part about the decision making for me, I've always been able to make my own decisions. God gave us the right to free, the choice, free will. It's our choice. When there is a mindset of limitation on being able to make decisions, that's enforced from people, but we always have free will. So I believe with women's empowerment, the right to decision making and choices, that lives within us just as it lives within men. And something can only be taken away if you allow it. So no one has ever taken away my choices or my decisions. I make them myself. And so in saying all of that, women's empowerment to me means lifting up my sisters. It means speaking for those that can't speak for themselves. It means bearing children, but not afraid to let the father be the father. It means speaking up when you don't agree, and taking life by the throat and saying, yeah, this is how I'm going to live. You're determining for yourself who you are, how you're going to live, and then let the world see that. So empowerment for me, it spans so much further than a month. It's a life. It's a lifestyle. It's how you live. Are you going to live based on your decisions? Or are you going to live based on someone else's forced upon you if you allow it? So.
I love that. Very powerful statement. I do agree. It does expand outside of the month. And I think, we put things in a box, and as well as women, going back to what you're saying, as far as confidence goes, like it's upon each person, each woman to take their power, be empowered themselves and pour into other women at the same time. And I think you can only allow someone to do something if you allow it, with I mean, in certain ways, but that confidence, I definitely agree. And so on, of course, jump in. Dani, what does being a woman and being empowered mean to you?
For me, I mean, Renee pretty much touched every aspect of it. Like when you said Women's Empowerment Month, I kind of drew a blank because it's like I appreciate the month, but it's like she said, we do this every day. It's just like Black History Month. It's like men don't have to have a mom. White people don't have to have a mom because it's already there.
Wow.
So it's like, why do we need to have a mom? We've always been who we are. In fact, women, our brains are, the way our brains are made, we have more corpus in the middle of our brains than men. So that means we can multitask. It's so many things that we can do. Not saying anything against men, because obviously I love men because I love you. But it's like they get paid more than us. We got to fight harder to get paid the same amount. And it's kind of frustrating. So for me, I guess empowering is, empowering other women, because it can be hard to be a woman. We have emotions, we have hormones, we have things that go in our head. Like men are not as emotional as women are. And so it always feels good when you have a female friend who you can lift up and tell them like, hey, we got this. It's okay. like Renee and Carisha, when they lifted us up the other day. I'm not gonna talk about what it was, but it felt good, like, hey, you got this. And it reminded me, like, you are still a woman,
Wow. That's
So
good.
yeah.
So good.
And I do
Community.
apologize in advance. My dog is making all this noise and I'm throwing stuff at him to make him
I
stop.
didn't hear anything. I didn't hear.
Oh, okay. Because when she was I was like,
Your
okay.
your mic might be on voice isolation because I only hear you.
Okay, because he's like scratching the carpet and stuff. I'm like, what is he doing?
I go through that with Ali. Ali he just turns up when he see me on here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, give me attention. I want to be
Yeah.
on.
You want it. You want it.
He do for sure. I love that. I love that. The point that you made about white men don't have a month and stuff like that. I agree, because the fact that they needed to do it shows that, like, okay, we've been giving y'all the short end of the stick. Look, here goes a month where we'll celebrate y'all. Versus just being equal from the jump. And we need women. We need more women more than we know, and then more than we let on. Like, and even with the current president we have, I think that he doesn't understand that, that how much women are needed and how much he needs a woman. You know what I'm saying, in his life. Go ahead.
I'm not even gonna go into him because I would go for a good 45 minutes on how much he needs to get a birthday party like yesterday. And furthermore, man, I think that as Black men, we have gotten so far away of what's important, what's our nucleus, and what's always been our nucleus is our Black women. You know what I'm saying? And I think part of it got manipulated through other concepts with other generations and other ethnicities. We follow everybody else except following what's our practice. You know what I'm saying? Back in Khmer days, we honored our women. We followed our women. You know what I mean? We were their protector. You know what I mean? Now you can't find too many men that stand up for a woman. They'll get on their phone and watch two women fight and record it instead of try to stop it. You know what I mean? And
Agreed.
it's just the dynamics are completely different nowadays. And we got two beautiful women on here today, that could be looked as queens, but even the most ratchet is a queen. But we don't see the beauty. We don't see the beauty in that because our definition of what a woman is a lot of men have this misconception that they are the prize. I don't even like saying prize because we should be each other's prize. You know what I mean? Men and women. You know what I mean? I can't do nothing without her. She really can't do nothing without me. So we work like a plug. You know what I mean? So this whole concept of men nowadays, after this Kevin Samuels
Lord,
debacle, well, everybody start following him. It turned into, you know what? He's right. I am. You know what I'm saying? She trying to look for a certain kind of man. I am that man. Well, you know what? You know what I mean? Like that whole bravado. You know what I mean? Like she need to be at the home and she need to just do and da. It just creates too much divisiveness between us. We're getting nowhere. You know what I mean? We get nowhere. You find nowadays too many women are coming up missing. Too many women are coming up dead. It's getting to a point now we don't have no protectors for these young girls. These girls are getting slain. There was just a case in Toledo. This young girl got killed by her dad. He raped and murdered her, bro. Her own dad, bro. I couldn't even imagine somebody remotely near me that will harm the essence of your kid, especially your daughter. Who does that? But we have taken on too many other cultures and they ideologies. That's my perspective. This is not the Black culture. This cannibalism, this misogynist misogynism, all these viewpoints, these are white supremacy viewpoints in my perspective.
Mm.
It's not us. You know what I mean? Everything we see in television, everything we see that gets sent to us, that we get trained to watch. You know what I'm saying? And the sad part about it is, and I'm part of the problem too. When my kids was little, I used to give them a tablet to watch. We train these babies to watch this crap, and everything they watching are altered in the essence of what we are not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the sad part. You know what I mean? And young girls become young thoughts, and young men become young perverts and punks. You know what I'm saying? And I mean punks on both perspectives. You know what I mean? When you treating women like crap to make you feel better, you're a punk. You know what I mean? We don't got a lot of stand. I mean, I can't say we don't have a lot, but it's a lot of men not standing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's sad that we are not protecting home. If I see a sister in need, it's my job as a black man to make sure she okay. And she would do the same, vice versa. But we don't look at that. We don't look at that nowadays like that. And that's the sad part, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get into y'all hear my voice echoing?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
It stopped just now.
Okay, just stop. Okay. So I want to get into because you bring up some great points, Tom. So I want to get into like a discussion of, what could we do as men to promote more, be more empowering, be more protecting? What are some things we could do in the community, to the women around us, to the women just we encounter from a woman's perspective? What are some of the things we're missing, and what are some things we can do better as women, as men, for you all?
I think it's like if you see a woman who is clearly in a situation, I think it's important to step in and find a way to help, depending on the situation. Because a lot of people, like back in the day, if something happens to a kid, like kids acting bad or whatever, people will step in like, hey, stop that. But now people don't do that. Like it seems like the community should maybe step up more. Like I've seen things happen in the comedy world where a woman is being disrespected and all the men are just sitting there laughing and ha ha ha, this is what it is, like it's no big deal. I can't really think of nothing from a real world. I haven't witnessed that really, but in the comedy world, I've seen that a lot where you just, when I was single before me and Malachi got together, I had to be the man for myself. I had to fight people off. At one point somebody grabbed me. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and it's sad that you have to be like that. You can't just be a woman and live your life and just be, happy and healthy. You got to fight. And wasn't nobody around to be like, I'll leave my sister alone. Except for one time, I remember Smooth stepped in when this one guy was doing too much. He was like, hey, what are you doing? You're doing too much.
Yeah.
So
speaking up, using our voice.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. Renee?
Not just using our voice, using our presence.
Yeah.
It's more than the voice. It's being being present in the moment. You know what I mean? Like she said, like people just sit back and they're like, oh, that don't got nothing to do with me. But it got everything to do with you. Because if they're doing it to her, they'll do it to your sister too. You know what I'm saying? They do it to your mama. You know what I mean? I hate to use the term, but Negroes out here, they own one. You know what I mean? They own one for real. And they be on some left field stuff, bro. You know what I mean? So sometimes it calls more than just a, hey, yo, chill out. It's, hey, yo, you need to really, you know what I mean? You need to be present in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I let her, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, we need a yeah, I mean, for sure. Because our yeah, I mean be, yeah, I mean. Be like, oh, really? Oh.
Show you a yeah, I mean. Yeah, I mean up your head.
Well, what I would say, Me, I love my brown men. Y'all are wonderful. Y'all are amazing. Listen to us. Listening is the one thing that I will say can be the choice between something going really well or really wrong. Just listening, observing. We failed to realize that children, infants, observe what's going on. They're watching. They're always looking. Why do we lose that when we're older? We immediately want to react instead of observing. So observe. Listen, observe. Respect our voice. You can listen to us, but if you have no respect for what we have to say, then it's not going to matter to you anyway. So respecting our voice. Challenge anywhere you see inequality and sexism. It's okay to say, that's my sister, and what you're doing or saying to her is wrong. When you see that a woman needs support, and I don't mean just physical support, mental support, emotional support, it's okay to be gentle with her. Not every woman wants to be known as the strong one. Yes, we have strength. And yes, it is okay for us to show said strength. But sometimes a lady wants to be a lady and be gentle and treat us gently. My mother had always instilled in us, and my father even had instilled in my sisters and I, the importance of grace, the importance of elegance, class. I don't use the B term. I'm not one that would ever call another female a B unless said term was deserved. And I mean, after observing and listening, there's no swaying on that. Like, she is what she is. But that term is now used just as brown people use the term, the N-word, as if it's something of positivity. And it's not. It's not. You can't take a term as it is and then try to change it into something positive and think you're doing, as Lauryn Hill said, develop a negative into a positive picture. I don't see that way with those words. So brown women will not hear that term from me because I believe it's a means to demean. And why would I want to demean my sister? Society has done that enough. So to the Kevin Samuels of the world, I say to you, empowerment only grows when we work together. If divisiveness is your intent, then you're not going to have any woman who believes in building something with someone, in working together, in loving, in doing the things that create a positive environment, whether it's at home, in the workplace, or just in society. So those are the things I feel any man can do to empower and support empowerment of women.
Powerful. Really go ahead, Tom.
To your point, I know people that use those Kevin Samuel talking points, and what they do is they mask it behind Christianity or religious viewpoints. And I'm like, just because you being a butthead, stop trying to perpetrate a fraud. You know what I mean? You can't get no woman. Work on you. Quit trying to say everything that she is doing or what media is showing you on TV. Why can't they be wholesome like this person and that person? The more you deflect, the more you telling me you don't know how to communicate with the opposite sex. That's okay if you being honest. A lot of men don't, and they don't be honest, and they go to those viewpoints because they've been rejected so many times in their life, and they sit at home with their dogs. No offense to men with dogs, I got a dog, but they sit at home with their dogs, tongue kissing their dog in the face. And it's disgusting. They need to get out
Ooh.
more, see
Mm.
actual women instead of blow up dolls. Or,
Mm.
I could go on a tangent, but you get what I'm saying, though. The
Wow.
more you communicate as a person, you know what I mean? You start develop skills. You develop skills. And I hate to say it, men get rejected all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
It's just come with being a man. You gonna get rejected.
Yeah.
What you
Yeah.
like a woman or you just think she attractive? She's gonna say, "Hey, can I get your number?" No. Okay, cool, no problem. No problem. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But it's not how what she says is how you react to it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think those are part of the issues that we have in the disconnect, as Renee was saying, about listening. If you listen to the reasons why she's not talking to you,
Yeah.
hey, I got a man. That don't mean you keep going. You know what I
Right.
mean? Just respect who she is. Okay, sis, my bro, I'm
God
out.
bless. Yeah. Don't
God
make
bless.
me feel
Kumbaya.
unsafe. I gotta
You know
lie
what I
to you and
mean?
tell you I'm gay.
Yeah.
You leave me alone.
In the next,
Or pay her a compliment and leave it.
and keep
It's
it
okay to
moving.
compliment her and walk
Ain't
away.
it?
100%.
We
You know,
like compliments.
Yeah.
you know what I'm
And
100%.
saying?
again, it's okay to say, you know what, you are a beautiful woman. And though you are taken, know that whomever has taken you, that person is so lucky. They are
Mm-hmm.
so blessed to be
Yes.
associated or connected with you. That's okay. I love compliments.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I love them
Me
too.
too.
And
Keep it
And
I
I
going.
give them
noticed
as much as I
when
love.
you give them, you get them back. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
You know, and it's been times where I've been like,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
sometimes those type of dudes, they be angry because they may low key like dudes too.
Because the intent is not, it's not to actually be kind to the woman. It's
Mm-hmm.
you have an agenda. Your intent is
The
this.
notch on
And
their
if we
belt.
see that your intent is this,
Mm-hmm.
then our direction is this way. We're not gonna
Mm,
walk that way because we have a high intuition. Most women have very strong intuition.
Mm-hmm. We can
And
tell if a person crazy. Like, oh,
yeah,
thank
and
you.
so why
God
would we want to
bless.
step into a situation that's going to direct us into negativity when we're about
Mm-hmm.
positivity? You give me a compliment, I'm going in the positive direction. Well, thank you so much, and you stay
Mm-hmm.
blessed. What? There is nothing wrong. It's like we've gotten removed. We're so far removed from what
Mm-hmm.
is just. It's okay to be kind to each other.
It
yeah.
Why
is.
is that
yeah,
a problem?
And to be like
we
a
so
manly man, because some men be so feminine in their ways, so that's why they get so offended.
Mm.
And that's why when you mentioned, or I don't know if it was on here when we was backstage, it's like some men would rather always, ain't nothing wrong with hanging out, you're supposed to hang out with your boys, but always be around they boys than they woman, because some of them low key like boys.
Mm.
Mm.
you know, I didn't want to say that. You know what I mean? Everybody like everybody. You know what I'm saying? In this day and age, everybody's inclusive. You know what I mean? And if you inclusive to whatever you inclusive with, kumbaya. That is you. You know what I'm saying? But I know I don't want to lay next to something soft.
Right.
And two burly brothers laying next to each other. That's they thing. That's not my thing. You know what I mean?
Burly.
Not burly,
I
child.
just
Why they gotta be burly?
that's the way I can only put it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But anyway,
You got two
I'm
of
getting
them.
off
You
subject.
got one on each side.
Pause. Always pause.
You're like,
What
hey,
I'm
if I'm gonna
saying
do
is
this, I'm
this.
gonna do it right.
What
Yeah.
I'm saying is this. I just feel like we're saying the disconnect is so far. How
Hmm.
do we get it back? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, listening is wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Recognizing, being present in the moment. But it's dudes out here who they think they can throw money at you
Yeah.
and they can win you over. It's dudes out here thinking they can do all types of things and win you over. You know what I mean? How do we get retrained as men? You know what I mean? If that's a
Hmm.
right way of saying for a reconnection, how do we get back to being together as a unit? Because that's what it ultimately is, right?
Yeah.
Restructuring, having a family nucleus. Because we used to be filled with a community. We don't even got that no more. I know Danny was alluding to that about kids and children, and you'll step in and say, "Hey, yo, Devontae, chill out.
Mhm.
You heard your mama. Let Cheryl say something else.
Mhm.
What?
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what
And
I
then
mean?
you
It's
can whoop
not like
somebody
that
else's
no
kid and they
more.
won't say
Yeah,
nothing.
it's not like that no more. You
Nah.
know, from what I gather, a lot of women be like, I got it. I got it.
Mm.
Oh, my bad, sis. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's pushback on both ends. It's not
Yeah.
just men, it's women too. It's a lot of pushback with women too. How
It
Yeah.
can we break
is.
those barriers?
We got to
Big.
look at each other as partners and not enemies. If you work together as a partner, then you listening more
Mhm.
versus somebody who you think you better than. Because some people be in relationships, they be like, I'm better than this person. They can't tell me nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But if you look
Yeah.
at each other as partners, y'all should probably take the Malachi Lee class because he listens a lot. And
Mm.
I'm over
Mm.
here I'm like, before I met this man, I was like, man, these men ain't crap.
Y'all
Now I'd
take
be
this
like,
like Malachi. You need a
you
record of
got me
this.
together.
I know, right?
You know what?
He needs to keep this one. Like, you said that day.
I can press play.
You mean pull up the tape?
I agree with you 100%, Danny. I would add to that, compromise. Like,
Mm.
but even before all of that, I'm gonna rewind and say, do a self check.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yourself ain't right. You jumping into something with somebody else, and you're trying to make them or mold them into something that you want them to be. One, that's not gonna work because you can't control anyone but yourself.
Right.
So look at that. And then when you have done your self check and you say, you know what, I'm free,
Mm-hmm.
I'm liberal, inside I know me, and I know what it is that I need in order to be successful, in order to be the person that I feel that I am called to be. So when you step into something with someone else, or you become connected with or joined with someone else, then it's a matter of what are they about?
Yeah.
What am I about? Let's talk about it. Do we agree? If we don't, cool. Can you live with what we don't agree with and what we do agree with? When you create the dynamic of compromise, where there needs to be compromise, this would be in a marriage or if there were children involved. Again, there has to be a self check and then a group check and then present it to the child. I've always been raised in a way that the children, when there's family functions and all of these things where adults and children, it's mixed company, the children were downstairs.
Yeah.
There were
Gotta
no
go.
conversations where children were
Mhm.
sitting at the table and involved in adult conversation.
Better go to that kitty table.
Listen, I was
I'm still at the
shocked to
kitty
go to
table.
some events where I'm seeing, we're sitting around and children are actually engaged in adult conversation, which I'm not judging the adults who allow that to happen, but what I am saying is children have a different set of just development. They're
Yeah.
in a different part of their development. And when you involve them in a part of their development that has not fully developed or developed at all, you're subjecting them to things that they're not ready to receive. So that's where kids may act out more, or they become defiant. And now you've got a family dynamic that's not as cohesive as you need it to be. So my thought on this part of it would be doing that self-check first, then doing a group check, and then let's come together and compromise on things that we need to compromise on.
Yeah. There's levels to this, steps to this. Go ahead, OG.
I ask this question: do you think, when it comes to this, our dynamics as men and women have gotten out of whack because we don't have necessarily no big mamas or no granddaddies? We don't have no real community nucleus no more. So, you know what I mean? We just out here. You know what I mean? Grandmas are like, what, in their 30s now. You know what I mean? And it's no dad at all or no grandfather. So we just, and the kids, like you said, they in conversation don't need to be in. And me, I do judge that. You know what I'm saying? And I've been in situations where I'm talking grown stuff and it's a 12-year-old, 13-year-old in the room on the sideline. I was like, yo, ain't nobody talking to you.
Get your
You
kid out
can
of
go.
here. Yeah, that's how I
So
am too.
adults be like, no, they can stay. They can stay.
Nah.
And then 3 years later, they challenging you and trying to fight you. You know what I mean? Because it's no respect. I'm on the same level as you. You know what I mean? And I don't know, did that make me or break me when I was a kid, when I had to go in the kid room? But I was always outside though. So if I'm reflecting, I'm like, I didn't know their business and I didn't care. You know what I mean? I didn't care what was going on. You know what I mean? If I found out, I found out because I was just walking in to give me a sandwich. You know what I mean? But kids nowadays are too
I know you was
invested.
getting a lot of sandwiches. I'm sorry, Tone. I'm sorry. I apologize. My bad.
Yeah, I was getting a lot
My
of
bad.
sandwiches. Bologna.
I
was getting a
was
lot of
too. I'm
bologna.
fluffy too, Tone. I'm fluffy too. I
Bologna.
understand.
I was getting bologna. No, actually, I was a lot smaller. I was a skinny kid. Yeah, you know what I mean? Kind of like Malachi when I was younger. But
Me too. I
but
was a
anyway,
size 0 when I was a kid. Now all of this
yeah,
is
I was
poof.
a skinny kid with a big head. You know what I mean? If you look at my
Me
picture though,
too.
you'll see
Oh,
it. But anyway,
well,
you
Tone,
get
to
what I'm
answer
saying.
your question though, I would say it hasn't been lost. I would say it has diminished, but not
Mm-hmm.
lost, because in my own family, I could have a mom who is in her 80s and she's helping with the grandkids. So she's able to impart that wisdom upon them. Whereas someone else who lives in a mixed environment, so there's environment is more gentrified, they don't have the mom Mableys of the neighborhood and the grandmas and the marmies, all of those adults who served as that community hub or the central nervous system of the community that spoke wisdom into or breathed life into the community and was the one who kept it together, so to speak, because essentially the woman is the spine or the central nervous system of any unit.
Yes, she
The
is.
man is the structure, he is the muscle, he is everything that is of the body. The woman is the innards, she is the spine, she holds it together. And so for those environments, I don't think it's I do not think it's completely diminished. I think it's lost in some areas, because if you go outside of the US, there are cultures that still believe in it. There are cultures that are now embracing it. There are cultures that have never touched that kind of environment where it's community based. But I think it depends on that area. I think it depends on the family. I will say that in recent years, a lot of things have changed. Like someone I know, someone very close to me has said it. People are dying like they ain't died before now.
Oh,
We have
wow.
lost so many.
That ain't no lie. That ain't no lie, man.
We have. I said my retort was, yeah, people are waking up dying. So we are literally losing so many of our greats in every industry you could think of, in our own families, and we are recognizing that the rapid rate of death is so much higher now than when we were younger. So it may feel like we are losing those figures that we grew up knowing, because a lot of them have transitioned recently. But what I will say is, because of that loss, it allows for, I think, more of the newer generation to come up and embrace that if they had that exposure prior to the transitions of those that have gone on. And it also allows for change. So change is not necessarily a bad thing. Is the environment that the community now embraces, is it thriving? Is it prospering? Well, let's observe that. Let's see what is making this one work versus what's not making this one work. And maybe it is that one grandma that sits in the windows yelling at the kids, "Hey, get off the street," and you have it there, versus everybody's afraid to open their doors. Like one of my favorite movies is Crooklyn, and
yeah.
you got every aspect of that film. Like Spike Lee was brilliant when that movie came out. You could see what the community in that day looked like, and now it looks different, but there are specks of it in places. I just think because it has changed, it has shifted what you were referring to as that inclusive community versus what we look at now.
That's a great perspective.
I have a question. We talk about women empowerment, right? Is there a difference between women empowerment opposed to feminine? Was it being a feminist? Is there a difference between those?
I don't think so.
If so, what would be the difference?
Anybody, right?
Say it again.
A feminist can be anyone, right? It can be a man, woman, anybody.
To be a feminist? I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, there are men that are feminists. Yeah.
Okay, so feminism is when you're fighting for or advocating for equality of all genders, specific to women, but you're fighting as a female, you're fighting for equality. The specific fight would be like for rights, for respect, for opportunities for women. And I will definitely say that a man can claim the term feminist, but the idea or the concept, at least in my mind, is it's a person just fighting for rights for women or a voice for a woman. I won't say that a man can't be a feminist because I'm not really sure about that, but I do know that with feminism, it really is about what the person is doing, what they're doing to support and fight for what women need.
The reason why I bring that up is because when you hear that word opposed to women empowerment, feminism is always considered to be in a dim light. Like it's a negative connotation when you talk about feminism. You know what I mean?
That's
that's why yeah, you're right. Racism, sexism, isms, you know what I mean? So, so I don't know. That made me think about that when we're reflecting about women empowerment, which I think it's a beautiful thing to empower women every day, like you said.
Right.
We shouldn't just talk about it for February, you talking about Black History.
Right.
You know what I mean?
28 whole
March,
days.
women empowerment, you know what I mean? And not just Black women, but all women. Like this is like I think about Roe versus Wade. Like that is just so asinine. That
for him to get rid of that is crazy.
These people are trying to control your uterus. Like there's no way, and we talked about this on the show. Like there's no way equivocal a man can tell a woman what to do with her body parts. Like if they was telling us what to do with our penis, you know how I would be like, no, like these my balls. You know what I mean? Like I don't get it. How can you do that? How can there be
as a man too? Like how's a man telling a woman like
with confidence?
Yeah,
like
how is there like legislation in place saying like, you know what? She ain't doing that. You know what I mean? He mine. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like property. You're not looked at as.
I mean, it goes down to slavery. Like a lot of them looked at us back in the day as property. If you were married to a man, it wasn't like a current marriage. How me and Malachi were equals. It was you got married to him and he was your property. And if something happened to him, hopefully he left you some money or you need to hurry and find somebody else to marry so that you can survive. I mean, people had to give dowries just to marry women. Like it's crazy. I couldn't imagine living in that time where people are like, yeah, I'm going to give you 50 cents for your wife, for your daughter. Like, I'm only worth 50 cents.
I'm gonna be a goat. And that's
the goat, right?
Still a thing. You give the family something to eat for a body part. You know what I mean? It's my woman.
Yeah, it's my daughter.
I got her so goat, man. See her right here?
You like throw in a donkey, you can have her. Like
exactly. if you give her, give me that. All right, give me that goat. Give me the pair of Jordans, and
Not
give me
Jordans.
a month's supply of free milk.
Mm.
It's a deal. You can have her. Like,
And then
no.
she working every day, waking up early in the morning, killing chickens and
Yes.
making stuff and doing the most. I'm sure she tired. Then she got to push babies out. Like, and what does he do? He's like, yes, my queen. Yes, please suck my royal penis. And so she got to do that too. And then he got in the
You
Bible in the
sound
beginning, he got two wives, so she got to watch him be with the other wife. And nah.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. Like, and I have this conversation with my lady all the time. Shout out to DJ Touch, where we talk about in Western philosophies and Western culture, it's the only culture where monogamy is a thing. In other countries, Eastern philosophy is that a man can have as many women as he want. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, damn, that mean to tell me I'm dealing with more than one person
Yeah.
at all times?
It's a lot.
On the personalities.
I'm
It's a
living.
lot. Sometimes it's a lot. One woman, sometimes it's like 10 people. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm
Don't you
like,
blink twice, so I need help. I see you, Mel. I see you in there.
Hey, talk your talk, Tom. Talk your talk, man.
and I'm only talking because she ain't out here. You know what I mean? But
right.
He trying to use you
But
since I'm
Tony,
on here.
I would actually say to that, because I have done some traveling overseas, and I've actually seen, like, I visited the UAE over a period of 5 years ago. I was back and forth to UAE. And one of the things that I was told was about those relationships where the husband would have more than one wife. What I did see, this is what I heard, but what I saw was family every time I would visit, because one of the laws or rules that they abide by is that you may have as many wives that you like, but you must care for them.
Take for care of them
Financially.
Yeah.
First. You can't just go out having babies and not care for these babies. So financially, you must care for them. They must all have a place to lay their heads. And you must spend time with them. I don't think that's a bad trade in my book for getting the time that my child needs with their father, because the idea or the relationship, the concept of relationship in other countries is different from Western culture.
It's community based. It's family based. Right?
And if you think about here, it's control based. How much
it's control based, and it's sexual based too.
Yes.
It's sexual.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I'm not sure
It's
if y'all
irresponsible, okay? You just
like,
lay your egg everywhere.
If you're aware
bang,
of
bang, 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 tear the club up.
Some of the workings of this country, like when you get married, the thing that I recently learned is that during your ceremony, there are certain things that are said. You can say vows and all of those types of things, but the marriage pyramid, and this is actually in American history, the marriage pyramid is not a connection between man and woman. It's man, woman, and state. And God. You would think it's God, but it's state. Because when divorce happens, do you consult God about it?
Right.
It's the state. And the connection, it's actually, there's, I can think of it as soon as I put my mind to it. But there is an actual diagram of this, and it's a triangle. Man on one side, woman on the other in the corners. And then at the top, it's state. It says God, but the connection between God and woman, and then God and man, is really state, because the state has control over what is divided amongst with assets, control, and children. The connection between man and woman, where man, I told you at the bottom of the pyramid, it's a dotted line. When you have a solid line versus a dotted line, solid, you don't cross, right? It's connected. So if you're driving on a highway, you know, solid line, you don't cross. Dotted, you can cross, right? Same thing works in a relationship. It can be broken. The bond can be broken and you can cross lines and do something else. But the connection between the persons involved and the state, it's not broken. So the state then decides how the separation happens, who gets what, and everything else. Prior to that, it was God. And with that concept, you were married and you didn't sign some document like a marriage license to the state. You can sign your names in the Bible, and that's your agreement to your loved one, because you're agreeing to what God's law is, not man's.
Yeah.
So the divisiveness has already happened when you have signed that marriage license, because you're now married to the state, not your partner.
Yeah.
That's
And
deep.
that coincides with, you start thinking about taxes. Are you guys claiming together, being as though you guys are in love?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to get that love money. I don't want to just get your money. I want to get all y'all money. Because y'all love each other.
And to that point, to Renee's point, because the reason we got married, for me for sure, was the covenant. You know, it wasn't the business side. I ain't, I know where I'm going, but where I'm at right now, like you know what I'm saying? But we get away from the covenant aspect. We get away from the help aspect. I need help, you need help. Let's help each other. Let's grow together. Let's pour into each other. Let's cover each other. Let's love each other. The business is secondary, and it should be legal as far as how the world looks at it, and documentation and all these things to protect each other and protect yourself legally. But also, again, it's about the covenant. It's about the spiritual aspect. That's the first thing. And even going back to women's empowerment, that's the first thing in our community is the spiritual aspect. It should be, at least, but like Tone said, like Renee said, the sexualized aspect is what we're leading with first, and not purpose. We're not purpose based anymore. We're not, purpose driven anymore. And I think that's where we're falling short as a people, for sure.
I hate that line is not straight. You said it's dotted.
It's crazy. Dotted. It is a dotted line. I want to say it's in the congressional archives. You can find it. It's actually researchable. You can find it.
Okay.
Wow.
The actual I'll get the name of it. I'll let you know. But it is the actual diagram of a marriage, how the Western world actually diagrams a marriage.
Which makes sense, because we are in a capitalistic society.
Yeah.
Everything that's dealing with a capitalistic society is all about money. Is money driven. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, you don't actually have to sign a marriage license to be married. The state doesn't have to recognize your marriage unless you are filing taxes. That has to do with finances. You can be married and sign it in a Bible, and that is the vow, the contract, the agreement that you have with your partner. Because if marriage is about partnership, whether you all have a business together or not, marriage is about the relationship between the two of you. The state has nothing to do with it.
Right.
So
that's a great point.
Only time the state got anything to do with it is when you talking about assets, like she said.
Financial,
financial assets.
Not even with children. That has nothing to do with the state.
Yeah, it's where your money's going, for sure.
Exactly.
So we coming up on an hour. I do want to round this conversation out, and I want you all to give a quick shout out to some women that meant a lot in your lives. Renee, you mentioned it. Dani, I see yours in your picture. So let's shout out to the women that meant a lot to you all, that taught you all how to be women, and just it could be relatives or not. Just shout out to women, give them their flowers that have meant a lot to you, that have empowered you.
You want to go first?
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to my mom. She's they called her the Duchess of they called her the Duchess of Love. She was a singer. Peaches Taylor. And then shout out to my grandmother, who helped my mom raise me, because my mom had me when she was very young. And she's the reason why I love Jesus. She's the reason why I know a lot of stuff. Like I could be on the corner of Mac and Bewick as a professional crackhead if it wasn't for my grandmother. So shout out to her. Shout out to my Aunt Meg and my Auntie Gloria. And yeah, those are the important women in my life.
Beautiful.
Oh. I got a list. Sorry.
I know you do.
Well, I have to say the woman who gave me life, my mother, I love her dearly. And the woman who gave her life, my grandmother, her mother, whom I was alive when she was alive, my great grandmother on my mother's side. So those women, I got a really big family, y'all. My my paternal grandmother, great grandmother, and great great grandmother. I would say anyone, any female who has transitioned in my life, for sure, I would have to say, has been empowering in my life because of what they created, not necessarily what they were, what I know them to be, because I don't have much knowledge of who they were, but what they created and what I have known, the women that they bore. I would give them credit. My aunt, Cicely, God rest her soul. She was a sassy lady, but you couldn't get any better than having someone who is in your industry, in your family.
Right.
The funny thing is, I grew up not knowing much about her career and so much more about her as my aunt. So I got to know the aunt, which
That's so
I
dope.
think so much more to me than ever knowing the celebrity.
Wow.
I'm actually knowing more about the celebrity now than I ever did as a child. And I'm grateful to her for really giving me the aunt that I grew up knowing. She was a wonderful lady. I will say outside of family, because I got tons of aunts that are just wonderful and godmothers who are lovely, and extended family. As far as women who have been known in society, I would say you've got Dorothy Dandridge, you've got Josephine Baker, and Lena Horne. Those women that you mentioned way early in the podcast about sex symbols and, you know, being exploited for sex and things like that. Those three women in particular were known as pinup girls and sex symbols of their day. Yet they did it in such a classy way that they were remembered for their artistry and not being the sexual symbol, but being the classiest, doing it in such a classy way.
Yes.
So I recognize those three women. I will say outside of my artistry, I would have to salute Angela Davis. You mentioned Kamala Harris. I'm going to say Shirley Chisholm because of her running for president when she ran.
You did.
And then you've got Sojourner Truth. You've got Harriet Tubman, the Rosa Parks, and Marian Anderson. The list goes on. But the most impactful to me would have to be the family aspect. Oh, and I can't leave out, I'm sorry, one of the ladies that I watched as a child and still watch today, Diane Carroll. My aunt and Diane were very close. And yeah, I didn't even know anything about their friendship, but absolutely loved Diane Carroll. And Jasmine Guy was a person I did get to meet. Jasmine Guy is another.
Oh man, I love Jasmine Guy.
I mean, you come on. So yes, the
different world, right?
Yeah, we've been watching A Different World lately.
Different World.
I hated how they did her in School Days though.
Oh, listen.
They had to take one for the team. Yeah.
They don't know about School Days.
Oh man. Look at them. Look at this.
We gonna watch it. Yeah, we definitely gonna watch it.
Oh,
I'm like, what did they do?
And in Fame, wasn't she in Fame?
Yeah.
She was a dancer. Yeah. So Jasmine Guy was extremely influential in my childhood. When I saw her, age 13, I saw her as Rizzo in Grease and got to meet her afterwards. The words of wisdom that woman passed on, They live in here just where my aunt's words live.
Mm.
I every time I meet an actress in their just living their truth, living in their element, I never see them talk about the flashy and the money and the glitz and glam. It's all about the work.
Yeah.
That's where I still commit to being a student, coming from a posture of a student, because there's always something to learn, and you grow from learning. And so meeting all of these women, it's amazing. Men too. Don't get me wrong. I said I love my brown men. I do. But that's for me. That would be my list.
Okay.
That's
I
a
love
beautiful
that.
list. She got me thinking. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. My aunties, because my aunties, they sung background for Aretha Franklin and Anita Baker for years. And they always impacted me. Like, they were like always in sync. They always showed me how to treat people like nice. Like anytime I meet someone who's known them, they're like, oh, they're so amazing, you know, because they always had that happy spirit. And yeah, they definitely made a big impact in my life.
I do have to add one more, because she came into my mind. I was like, yeah, I had recently been really seeing way more of her, and never having met her, but only having met her offspring. Her name is Cheryl Shepherd, and I can honestly say this particular woman reminds me so much of how important it is to raise your children. She raised her child and then proceeded to show how important it is for her child to raise their child. Cheryl Shepherd is and was and always will be the mother of a wonderful friend of mine who shows me daily how important it is to to be kind to people. That's first and foremost, to be good to people, to be kind to people, and just always come from a place of love. Your intent is everything.
Yeah.
Be observant, be still, be listening, live in the moment, but always come from a place of love, and the rest is just going to follow. Trust God.
Wow.
Cheryl Shepherd.
Man.
More powerful lessons from some powerful women. If I was to shout out some women in my life, my mother that has birthed me and got me saved, raised me in the church, and showed me how to hustle, showed me how to be an entrepreneur, showed me how to be kind and serve God, and has always believed in my dreams, always pushed me to pursue my career of artistry. So definitely shout out to my mom, my wife, seeing her operate day to day and endure the things that she has been through, continue to endure, continue to take the licks of life and keep on moving. I admire that in you, baby. And yeah, oh yeah. My pastors, Dr. Beverly, we just celebrated her birthday. She's been my spiritual mother. Her grace and just her essence as a person and how she pours into people and so selfless. That's my top three. I have a lot, but that's my top three for sure. So, Tone, you got some women?
Oh man, the
Yeah.
ladies love Tone, and Tone loves the ladies.
Come on, Big T. Big
Oh man, first and foremost, my mom Dukes, man.
Oh yeah.
Is everything, man. On the side note, my baby sister just had a baby shower, and they were there, and my mom wore a cheetah print outfit.
You had it on her.
She be killing it, man. But yeah, my mom, man, me and my mom, man, we can sit in a room and just talk all day long about nothing. You know what I mean? It just that relationship alone, you don't have that with people. I mean, you can't even talk to your best friend sometimes. You know what I mean? But with my mom, we could just kick it about nothing all day and just laugh and have fun. It'd be some crying, it'd be some eating, it'd be some, but it's just that connection I had with her. My favorite Aunt Diane, I love her to death. It's a lot of my other aunties that hate on her, because I call her my favorite auntie because she is my favorite auntie. You know what I mean? Who else? Shout out to DJ Touch. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In my development as a spouse, I have grown tremendously because of her, and I don't think she get a lot of recognition as she should. So I just want to say I love you, baby, and thank you for making me the man I am today, baby. But you know, her mom, I call her Mama Marion. She taught me how to just be with me. If you know me, you know I say a lot of things, and I sometimes I'm like my mom. Sometimes I say stuff without thinking about them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But with Mama Marion, she gave me the ability to move with grace,
Yeah.
and you have to respect that. You know that everybody ain't gonna accept you for things that you say that you can control, and because you say it, don't think everybody gonna accept the way you want to accept it. So I just give a shout out to her for always teaching me to be humble and have grace with and humility with everybody. And like I said, it's a lot of women out there who have impacted me over the years. You know, out of my 45 going on 46 years in April. You know what I mean? So, you know, I can only thank them all for what they have created in me. And I'm a big advocate for women. You know what I mean? And that don't make me less of a man. I grew up in a time where we took care of our ladies and they took care of us. It was just what it was. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays you do not have that because the homies want to be with the homies too much.
Yep.
And Danny, I'm not even gonna say that. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna say it like that. The homies want to be with the homies a little too much.
Yeah.
You know what I
A
mean?
little too much.
Too many burly men next to each other.
I don't know if any of y'all have siblings, like sisters, but definitely anybody who's got a sister. I just forgot. I was like, shoot, I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah,
my sisters, my right and left arms.
Yeah.
My sister too.
Yeah, my sister Wendy and my first lady, she's a man.
Still alive, so you're like,
yeah.
If they happen to be watching, like, wait a minute, you ain't saying
right. That's why I said, let me say it, and I'm gonna say it for everybody.
Yeah.
If I knew about this question before we got on here, I would have had a list. Like,
yeah. I didn't mention my sisters. Shout out to them, especially my baby sister. She about to give birth. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, my baby sister, man, she is a straight hustler, man. She don't hurt her tongue. She don't hide no hands, man.
That's all the baby sisters. They're all like that.
She's straight
they're
raw.
Mama bears, but they're the youngest.
Yeah.
You know why? Because Mama just started honing in on them. You know what I mean? After we leave, they start honing in on them. And I'm looking at one point, my mama and my sister was like, "Team us." I say, "Hold the hell up! I mean, team y'all. That's me, Mama." You know, I had to back up. Shout out to my baby cousin / little sister Monique too. She be doing her thing.
Yeah. Shout out to my big cousin Shana. Doing her thing.
Yeah, all my female cousins. Yes.
Shout out to the lady that live across. Hey, now.
Right.
Shout out to
I saw her snatch up this kid.
I met her once, and I love her smile.
All the mom Mableys of the neighborhoods.
Right.
And most important, I like to say shout out to y'all for coming on.
Yes.
Thank
y'all for joining us for sure. And speaking of that, I want to shout out y'all, who y'all are, and y'all content. So here we have Renee's website.
Ooh.
Yeah. I know, right? Can y'all see this?
Nice.
Hey. She's like, just come check me out.
Okay, that's sexy, honey.
Thank you.
You can go to www.reneehenryofficial. That's OFFICIAL.
She say, "Let's chat."
They gotta teach you how to spell the official, right?
Yes.
Let's chat.
Rene Henry, Renee Henry, and she has everything going on. All her whereabouts and be abouts. You could check them all out on our website. Great website. This looks very clean, very concise.
Super dope.
Yeah.
Super dope.
Let's check you out here live on the.
Check this headshot.
There we go. That Actors Access.
Yes, I was like, I ain't doing all that work. Y'all can do it for me. So.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Yeah.
So yes, you can go to Renee.
All content is there.
Yeah, all our stuff is there. ReneeHenryOfficial.com. And of course, my lovely wife has her novel she wrote, Love Hates Me.
I'm getting it. I'm ordering my copy.
There we go. Copy on the way.
I need a signed copy, Danny. I need a
I can send you one, child.
Yes, man.
Like, what is that down there on the floor?
Yes. And also, she's a comedian as well. Danny has a sold out show tomorrow.
Hey.
That's what's
and
up.
we'll be back at it next month in April. So
right on.
We got a sold out show tonight, and then our book for our show tomorrow.
Yeah, I said tomorrow. Yeah, I meant tonight. Yeah, it's definitely tonight. In a couple hours. And also,
if you want your book, you can inbox me, Dani Love, comedian Dani Love on Instagram.
There we go.
I had a website. It was nice. I don't know what happened to it. It's gone.
I want to say too, if you have not seen the Lovelies in person, you are missing out on a dynamic duo. They changed the game in clean comedy. And not saying that I know any other person that does clean comedy, but their dynamic together is the Ashford and Simpson of clean comedy, and it's great.
Right. Dude, I was just at the Ashford and Simpson Sugar Bar last night. So come on.
Wow.
Okay. That's prophetic right there.
Listen.
Yes.
And Valerie Simpson, Madame Valerie Simpson was there too. So
wow.
Yes, I know what you're doing is about to be fire. Okay.
Amen. We received that.
Lord, yes.
Yes.
And it's good to see you, Renee. It's been a long time, sis.
Yes. Let's not make it too long for next time.
We will not. We will not. We could have been talking for a couple more hours, because there was a few more questions and topics I wanted to hit, but that hour came up so quick. It's like, wow.
See what happens when you don't send the questions. I'm just saying.
No, but Renee, you are a very intelligent woman, and I enjoyed listening to you this entire podcast.
Thank you so much. You as well.
There we go. Flowers right there. Yeah. I love it.
My sister, I salute you. I know that the journey for you is on the up and up. You're only going to level up, and it's only going to get better from here. So God bless you. God bless you both for your, oh my goodness, bless your marriage. Aren't y'all coming up on a year?
Yes.
It's just wonderful to see people succeeding in what they want to do, loving what they do. And you just spreading the love. We get to see you doing what you love to do. So God bless you all. Big Tone, my God. Please hit me up next time you need me on the show, where I will come.
Definitely.
I appreciate all of you, and I love to support your platform.
Thank you. We definitely will have you back very soon. Right. Mark my words, very soon we'll have you back for sure.
All right.
So thank you, Renee. Thank you, Dani. I appreciate y'all so much. We're gonna take y'all out, but stay for a brief moment, and we're gonna close out. Man, great show, man. Great show. You know what we do. Thankful to another episode 181, Ladies First, featuring Dani Love.
Can I do that now? Can I do that? Just a small piece.
What?
You know what? I should have did it earlier. I gotta give him a little bit. You know what I mean?
Okay. Oh yeah. Yes. Come on.
You ready?
You ready? I'm ready.
I'm ready. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. That's all I'm gonna do.
Yes. Thank y'all for another episode of Mask Guard, episode 187, Ladies First, man. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We love y'all. Hey, y'all know what we do. We love y'all, man. Peace out.
Love them ladies, man.